Everybody, welcome. Where you join us from, let us know. Welcome to another great Wealthy Winning Wednesday here at MBA Broker Consultants. Welcome, brokers, and today we're going to talk about agent onboarding. That is bringing your newly hired agents into the fold, getting them ready for immense success there, setting up a system that doesn't take all of your time and energy and effort away from your existing agents because you have a system you can put on autopilot. So let's talk about that now. Who's ready to get started? All right, Carrie, welcome from Southwest Florida. Shakita from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. We have a great presentation for you today with Module 6. Scout, sign, and play the right agents at your brokerage firm. And that's the title of our series we've been going through. Welcome, brokers. Who's ready to hit a grand slam? Hit it out of the park today. That's what we're going to do. Take notes. We're going to have a worksheet for you. Download it, take your notes, and get ready to implement, put it into action. This is part of our 4th masterclass series. Actually, we have other masterclasses. We don't want to just play the game. We want to change the game. And that's what our motto is here at MBA Broker Consultants, where we offer you, in addition to our webinar series, we also offer online courses, workshops, retreats, business plans, consultations, and so much more. And today we're actually in the 6th of 10 modules. We're calling these innings, right? Because there's 9 innings in baseball. So we're in the 6th inning. It's called Agent Onboarding. And let's get ready to get started here. All right, a little bit about me. I think everybody pretty much knows me by now, but I'm teaching these courses based on some of the training that I did or my learning in the MBA program. And I'm a brokerage owner. Today I will be demonstrating some of my own brokerage inside secrets, if you want to call it that. But, just use them as a sample. Your brokerage is going to be a little different, but definitely there's something to be said for having a template that's easy to follow, right? Okay, 6th inning, agent onboarding. So today's topics, we're in Module 6. Today's topics will be the onboarding tasks. We'll just do sort of an overview. Then we'll do the welcome communication that happens with your agents. And then we'll go through the active transactions. What do you do with those? So we'll find that out. And then goal setting and training. That'll be our last segment. Get your agents started strong. Get them on the right path. All right, so we have a little activity workbook today. I'm going to go ahead and upload that for you. Module 6 worksheet. All right, please let me know if you can see that and download it. As you know, we have an activity workbook for each one of the modules. So if you've been downloading them every week, put them all together, turn it into a complete workbook with all of your notes in it. Helps you get action. Carrie said, got it. Oh, awesome. Great. Let's keep going here. We're going to start with our first poll, which is, do you have an agent onboarding system? So the answers are A, yes, we have an agent onboarding system. It's documented. We follow it. B is, yes, we have a general system. We know what to do. We do it every time, but it may not be documented. And C is, no, we don't yet have a system, but after today's module, we will. Okay, so go ahead and place your answers in. Okay, great. We have so far 100% of respondents said, yes, we have a general system. Okay, now it's 50-50 with B and C. A is we have a system, it's documented, we follow it every time, we put on autopilot. B is we do have a general system, may not be documented. C is we don't have anything yet, but after today's module, we certainly will. And that's why we're here today. Awesome. Great job, everybody. We're going to keep going here. And we're going to dive into topic number 1, which is onboarding tasks. System. SYSTEM. What does that stand for? Save yourself stress, time, energy, money. And that's what a brokerage is all about. It's about running a business. It's not really about sales or recruiting agents as much as, put on your entrepreneur cap, you're at a higher level, and your goal is to run the company, right? To operate the company. And to do that, you have to have procedures and put things on in systems. And systems can automate 80% of your processes, and then you only have to do 20% manually. So with your onboarding, when you first meet with your agents, your new agents, I encourage you to start strong. Give them your personal talk about your own values, the company values, your mission. Let them know what you expect from them. Because generally I find that people, myself included, all of us, we live up to the expectations that people have of us. And if there are no expectations set, there's really nothing to strive for other than our own internal motivations, which may not always be that strong, or we may get derailed. So it's important to have those high expectations from our brokerage and have something to strive for. Also, you want to outline the boundaries, right? And help them get started with your system. Here's my orientation checklist that we start with. Now, if you hang on till the end of today's module or presentation, you will receive a copy of this orientation checklist that you can use for yourself and your company. So it starts with agent onboarding and orientation checklist, the welcome, the brokerage startup, the events, professional associations, marketing materials, office procedure, compensation and sales, and then a conclusion. And that's pretty much what we're going to go through today, because I'm going to show you some of my samples that I put together a few years ago for our company. And you can sort of get an idea of what you'd want in each of these areas. But these are, to me, the main areas that need to be covered during the agent orientation. Now, it may seem like a lot of things, but honestly, other than the brokerage one-to-one chat that you have, most of it can be automated. Your virtual assistant can do it, your office manager can do it, or they can watch a video and you can have them, send things to them electronically if they're not in the office. All right, so agent tasks. What do the agents have to do? Well, they need to watch a video or slides. This is part of the automating procedure. They need to complete paperwork. They need to come in person, and you also need to set up email and phone with them. So let's get started here with welcome communication. What do you do first with your agents? Okay, so with it, we have another poll here. When should newly hired agents receive their welcome packet? Let me put the poll up. Poll. Okay, there we go. Okay, so should newly hired agents receive their welcome package? A, within 24 hours of the interview. B, after their license is moved over and complete. Or C, once they physically move into the office. So what are your answers? Let us know, A, B, or C. Now, okay, C, once they physically move in. Now, just to clarify, A, within 24 hours of the interview. Now, our last module was sitting down with the agents, interviewing them. And what do we say? Your goal is to get them to sign on the spot. Now, if they sign on the spot, couldn't you send them their welcome packet right away, probably that very same day? Because you're going to take the agreement they just signed, you're going to send it to your transaction coordinator, your office administrator, your virtual assistant, or whomever, and have them just send over the packet. Okay, so we've got some answers here. 50% said B, 50% said C. I would encourage you to do it A. I know nobody answered that yet, but I would encourage you to send their welcome packet as soon as they sign, even if they haven't moved over their license yet, even if they haven't physically moved in. Start the welcome packet, or at least the welcome letter that says, welcome to our company. The reason is because, when they sign with you, they have mixed emotions. They're very excited, but they may have some reservations, wondering if I did the right thing. And if they don't hear from you until their license is moved over, which could be a few days, or they physically move in, which could be a week or two, they might lose that momentum and excitement. So you really want to keep their energy level high and send them the congratulations and the welcome letter right away. So that would be my suggestion. Okay, if they sign, then A. Okay, good. Shakita said if they do sign on the spot, then you do want to do A, send them right away. Great. Okay, so this is the welcome communication that we go through with our new agents. I'll be showing you a lot of sample templates. And again, these are things that you should have set up, but also why not record a video? That's what we did. Our video is, I guess, maybe an hour long, but we went through and recorded every single step they need to do as a video so they can watch it at their own convenience. Of course, we know many people don't watch a video or don't read anything after you send it to them. So what you want to do is you want to either follow up or invite them to an in-person orientation as well, and onboarding if you have that available. So the first thing is the Brokerage Leader. As we said, this is the face-to-face discussion. Now, if you're hiring agents virtually, they may not come into the office or they may not come in soon. I would suggest, instead of just a phone call, put them on video, on FaceTime or a webinar or some type of, Skype or something where you can see each other and interact a little more closely than a phone or an email. So what you really want to do is, it's important for you to set your expectations. And I have found that when I meet with employees or agents right up front and I set the expectations, most of the time they will live up to those expectations because they feel a personal connection to me and they don't want to disappoint me. So I think that's important to do. Also, it shows that you personally care. They're not employee number 567 that is just another number for you as a brokerage, but you care about them, you're vested in their success, and you're rooting for them personally, and that means a lot. That will really help agents stay through the tough times because they know somebody there personally cares about them. And last but not least, it shows accountability. And how important is that for each of us to have accountability? For agents, it's easy for them to get lost in the shuffle when there's nobody checking up on them. And we all need that accountability, right? The best thing about being self-employed is you have no boss. Woohoo! Yay, no boss. The worst thing about being self-employed is you have no boss. Nobody's there to push you along. So that accountability is really critical. Here's our first sample screen. And again, this is taken from a PowerPoint slide presentation that I put together for our company. And we actually do it in person at an in-person orientation. And we also have it recorded that we send to them afterwards to watch at their convenience, because it's hard to catch everything at once, especially when you're new. There's a lot of things to learn. So our welcome, we say, thank you for joining the team, the importance of your role, the brokerage access availability, our motto, home of the Freedom Office. We talk a little bit about our mission, our brand. And again, this is our sample PowerPoint. And again, this is probably something you want to put together for yourself as well. Thank you for joining our team. You want to have an attitude of gratitude. Let them know that their role is important and vital to your brokerage. Another thing that's important is your office or your managerial staff, how accessible are they? How available are they? That is one of the biggest complaints that agents have about brokerages, is not being available. So you want to let them know that you are accessible, available. Again, go through your mission, your vision, your values. Make sure that it's reinforced of the importance of these to your company so that they can withhold that exact same high standard that you have. Also, go through your brand and your logos. Get them excited, and be proud of what they represent, and your motto of service and why. So this is the best way to start strong, and I would encourage you to incorporate that. Now, here's our welcome email. If you stay tuned all the way to the end, I'll give you a sample welcome email. But again, we say, welcome new associate. Thank you for joining our team. We're thrilled to have you aboard, and we're excited to work with a real estate agent of your high caliber. We look forward to your contributions to our team. Enclosed is your welcome package, and then it lists out the things. So we have the confidentiality agreement, the application form if they haven't already signed it. We want to know how many transactions they've closed at their previous brokerage, and we talked about that last module in the interview process. The independent contractor agreement, if they haven't yet signed that. The IRS Form W-9, transactions in progress, and we'll talk about why that's so important in the third section of this module. The new associate startup checklist, the calendar of events, and the office handbook. And then we let them know that we send out an e-newsletter every Monday morning. We also have a Monday AM call-in number with our phone call every Monday morning. That's our office virtual meeting where everybody checks in. And then we have a forms library we'll give them access to. Okay, so that's just a basic email. Again, you don't want to overwhelm people. So the first email should be probably an overview and the necessary forms. And then you can follow up with several emails later on to make sure that they're staying on track and getting these things completed. All right, so here we have a sample. This is our mission statement that we talk to our agents about. Our mission is to offer the highest level of support services to licensed real estate agents so they can run successful, profitable businesses, to embrace technology and leverage it to conduct business more efficiently and be socially responsible with less waste. That is part of our value. And to empower our associates to help Americans buy their own homes and create a solid financial legacy for their family. Again, those are your customers of your customers, right? So those are you're speaking about the buyers and sellers. So this is our company's mission. I assume that you have something similar, and this is what I would start with when you start strong with your agents at the very beginning of their orientation process. Again, so the setup steps would be move their license over, get the contract signed, get them the welcome package, get the policy manual signed, set up their email, and set up their phone. And this is part of your internal processes that you can sort of, check off the box after you complete it. And this is what our sample PowerPoint looks like. Again, I would encourage you to put together a PowerPoint that's similar that you could use for your agents, and you use it in person at your orientation. Why do you have a PowerPoint instead of just getting up and talking? Because it makes sure that it's standard. It's a system. No matter who conducts your new agent orientation and onboarding session, they will all be similar because you've gone through all of the same things because it's a PowerPoint slide, right? And then, of course, you're going to turn it into a video that you're going to send them afterwards. Okay, so this is our welcome package slide for our new agents, and we show them what's in the welcome packet, what we want them to do, complete and return certain forms, sign some things via DocuSign, and then some items that we want them to keep for their reference, and we'll actually send that out in DocuSign if they haven't already signed it, right? And then we'll have policy and procedures manuals, right? We'll have a legal handbook, a practical handbook. All right, so here's a sample of, we have a couple of different handbooks. This one is our policy manual, and we actually will have the agents initial and sign that they received it, they're going to abide by it, and it's part of what they do at the, as their job duties as a real estate agent. And then we have a second one, and this is what we call our practical procedures. So the first one, okay, let me go back to that. This one, the legal procedures, okay, so you're probably going to ask, where did you come up with these procedures? And we are fortunate enough to have our state Realtor Association, California Association of Realtors, who has a template. So they have a template. We bought the template and then we modified it to add additional things specific to our brokerage. So we're kind of lucky that way, but every state has different legal procedures. You might want to consult with your attorney, and there are a few other great sources. We also have an attorney who can help you put that together. So if you need help putting it together, let us know. We'll recommend her. She's super awesome. She's here in California, but she can help you, regardless of what state you're in. So that's one of the things she does. And this one is our practical procedures. So in other words, it's about the day-to-day operations of the office and what their procedures are and, different things like that. And it's not really necessarily the legal part, but it's more of, the day-to-day things that they would do, a little bit about our company, what our policies are and why. Okay, and then we're going to set up their email, and we set up their phone. And these are the slides from that presentation. But with the email setup, we always set up our agents with our domain name so that we put it on their business cards, we put it on their flyers, we put it on their web page, because we actually give them a web page as well. And the most important thing is that the emails will come back to you. So when the agent leaves your company, now you're going to go in and reclaim that email address and have it coming to your assistant to monitor and make sure no important leads are being missed or anything that needs to be followed up on from clients that maybe might not have been caught. So definitely you want to order the business cards and flyers at the beginning, because you're going to put your company's email address on it, right? Okay, and then same thing with the phone. We actually have a phone number that we get through Ring Central, and we have lots of extensions. So we give each of our agents an extension, and when they get an extension, of course, that's the phone number we're going to put on business cards, flyers, their webpage. But when they leave, that extension, we redirect it back to us again, and then we can capture any, phone calls that come in after the fact, whether it's a client that needs to be followed up on, or, potential lead, or something the agent needs to know about. You can notify them later after they've left. But it's important for follow-up and communication to make sure that you have those coming back to you. Okay, so those are a couple of things we do. This is our sample calendar and events overview that we give them. And then each of these items, by the way, you can see on here A, B, C, D, E, F. Each of these items is a separate PowerPoint slide where we go over and we train them on each of these items. For the sake of today's session, we don't have enough time to go over each of these in detail. So we're hitting the highlights, but just know that there's a lot to this. As a matter of fact, there's probably close to 100 slides on this agent, our slides that we have for our new agent onboarding and orientation. Okay, so Monday we have our team meetings. Friday we have our reports due. We'll talk about the reports as we go here. We have weekday trainings every single day for 20 minutes at 8 a.m. We have a training, and that just helps our agents stay on track, stay focused, and it gives us an opportunity to offer them some valuable training and also to see how they're doing, see if they need help with anything. We do a goals review quarterly and annually. We have upcoming events this year. We go through our calendar, and then we have an e-news that we deliver every Monday morning. Okay, so as part of our update that we do, you can do this either weekly or daily, but this is a weekly one. So we call it the 1 minute roundtable. So every agent gets 1 minute, more or less. Sometimes they take a little more, but it's always for a good reason. And they go through and they let us know what they're working on. So they give us updates on escrow. And you might not be in California, but escrow is the closing process here. So did they open any new escrows? Did they close any escrows? Number 2 is the listings. Do they have new listings? Do they have any price reductions? Do they have any buyers that need a listing or that need a home? And then we go over rentals if available. And so everybody has an opportunity to participate. We strongly encourage all of our agents to get on the phone call. If you have it in person in the office, that's even better. You can have a hybrid where you have a meeting in person and then you have a conference call with those who can't attend in person. So it's just a great way to get everybody involved, find out what's going on, and see how you can help them. Now, we did talk about accountability and how important it is. So this is our weekly update report that we require all the agents to complete. Now, this is an online form. We actually later on turn it into an online survey type of thing where they don't even have to fill out a form. They can just click through and select different things and type some things in. I think that's a little easier and you get more engagement and participation. But again, this is the basic form, is that you want to know from your agents what they're working on. It is our duty to supervise them. It's our legal duty to know what they're working on and make sure that they have the help they need and ensure that they're complying with the law, the Realtor Association, the MLS rules, our local regulations. So every Friday we have this form due. We want to make sure that we actually have our TC complete one as well. And then we match that to what the agents say they're working on. So if agents say, oh, I have this deal in escrow, but the TC doesn't have it on her list, we know there's a problem because the agent has failed to communicate with the TC and she doesn't have the file yet. She's not working on it and it's not under your brokerage yet, under your brokerage's transaction management system. So that's a good thing that you're going to find out. You'll also find out if your agents require any action, if there's things that need to be updated. Also, if you notice right up here at the top, I'm just going to circle it. Oops, okay, here we go. And I'm going to circle this little thing here. It says, Did you update all parties today? Yes, no, and reason. Right, so let me clear that off of there. Okay, here we go. That's a little bit better circle there. So you can see that we're asking them every week, did you update all your parties? Did you update your buyers? Did you update your sellers? And your agent should be updating their clients at least once a week. As we know, that's the biggest problem that most consumers have with agents is they're not communicative enough. They don't update them on a regular basis. So you want to make sure they're sending out a weekly email to their buyers and sellers and letting them know what the status is, what's happened this week, what's going on. Okay. So again, update what actions need to be taken, what the status is. I hope that's helpful. Okay, Shakita has a question. What's the cost for extensions on RingCentral? We got RingCentral a long time ago. We had 100 extensions and we paid like $30 a month for everything. I know things have changed a little bit since then. We have dropped some of our extensions because we don't need that many, but you can get extensions pretty easily on RingCentral, and there are other sources as well. Now, just be aware that RingCentral has two types of services. One is pretty expensive. It takes the place of a phone system in your office, and the other is a completely virtual system. It starts at like $25, $30 a month, and I think it's well worth it. Even without the agent extensions, we use that phone number on everything. We have an 888 number. So again, check into it. It's pretty awesome. I might have an affiliate link. I'll have to look for that later. Okay, going back to our agent orientation, we share with them our communication standards. And you might think, wow, that's kind of silly. Don't people know that you have to answer the phone whenever possible, return calls, return emails? No, they don't do that. They don't know that. And again, if that standard and that expectation is not set, people won't know what you expect them to live up to. And then you might get angry calls from co-op agents, consumers, clients saying, nobody's returned my call. So again, you get what you expect and what you tell people you expect. And we tell them that we expect answer the phone during business hours, if possible. Return phone calls within 2 hours, answer emails within 2 hours, respond to client inquiries and leads immediately, follow up with every person who contacted you, update all parties to an active transaction at least twice per week, keep the brokerage informed regarding all transactions, all updates. And if you don't let your agents know that you expect this, you might not get anything. So again, setting the standards for communication is really important. As a matter of fact, we also have a form. It's called our Service Standards and Pledge. So we have two different forms. One's a service standard, one's a pledge, and we have our agents sign this to let them know exactly what communication we expect. And actually on the pledge, it goes over how we are supposed to treat other people, including vendors, co-op agents, clients, our ethics and morals, and our values. Do you have to do all this? Yes. Yes, this is a continuing education that we need to do with our agents. Also, we have a sample client survey. And this is what we send out to our buyers and sellers after a transaction is completed. Now remember, the agent thinks those are their buyers and sellers, but really, who owns the transaction? The brokerage does, not the agent. So it's the brokerage responsibility to follow up and make sure every client is satisfied. If not, you can bet they'll be going on Yelp and typing a negative review about your agents. and you want to avert any problems before it gets to that point, the client survey does a few things. First of all, it gives you some guidance for your company to let you know what direction you should be taking the company in based on customer demand. Secondly, it lets you know if the agents are doing a good job, because, you need to constantly measure their progress, track it, talk with them about it, see how they can improve it. So that feedback's important. Also, the great thing about it is you can get testimonials. And these are great things that can help you brag about your company, especially if they're happy. You can send them additional forms that they can just cut and paste and put them in, such as Real Satisfied or Yelp reviews or other online reviews. And lastly, it helps you with your referrals because you're asking for referrals. And remember, if they're satisfied, they probably will refer you to some of their friends. Okay, so this helps accountability all the way around. This is a sample slide that goes over our marketing materials for our agents. We talk with them about signs and writers. We show them what their name badge is going to look like, and we order the name badge for them. It's complimentary the first time. If they want additional, they order at their own expense later. We ask them for a headshot photo, professionally done, and we let them know what standards we expect. As a brokerage, I would encourage you to have a headshot photo day where you have a professional photographer come in, have all your agents come in and get professional headshots. Otherwise, it might be, a mixed bag of what you get. Business cards, as I said, again, we order their initial batch of business cards because it has our phone number and our email address that comes back to us. It's personalized for the agents, but once they leave the company, we reclaim those email and phone, and then it filters back to us again. Email banner, right, with our logo at the bottom. Why? So it's standard. It represents the company. It advertises and promotes our company, and all of our agents, in a community help set the presence, a strong presence. Okay, and a bio. What do you do with a bio? Well, bio is a great free way of advertising. You can put it on social media. You can put it in the newspapers. You can put it online. So there's a lot of things you can do with a bio. Oh, also your web page. You're going to want to make sure that you have it on your website. And the next one is the web slide. And I'm not sure that's correct. I think it's supposed to be website. And then, because each agent at our company, they get their own web page. It's one page. We set it up with our design. It has our logo. It has our theme. And it has a picture of them along with their bio and anything that they want people to know about them and their current listings. Okay. And then we have a question from Violet. Do you charge an onboarding charge? No, we do not, because we don't want to have an obstacle preventing agents from joining us. But there are companies who do charge an onboarding fee or a joining fee or whatever they call it. So that's up to you if that's something you want to charge at your company. We do not. Okay, the last marketing materials is a custom marketing plan, and that's the most important thing to start off with your new agents, is going through a marketing plan of how they plan to get sales, where they're going to get it from, and things like that. So don't forget to do that as part of your onboarding. Help them start off strong and be successful. Okay, let's keep going here. Sample name badges. We actually had 2 name badges because we had one in color. Just turn this on real quick. Right, so we have a full color version. This is our normal version. And then we have one that is gold, that is, or it could be sparkly or whatever you want, but we use this for our high-end listings. So it's a different brand, and we do something a little different with it. Or if you're like me and you get somewhere to an event and you forgot your name badge, you can have one in your car, one in your purse, one on your dresser or wherever, right? So you get to an event, you forget your name badge, and you can shuffle through your car and find a second name badge. Okay, anyway, we do two different brands with our company. If you have another niche area like REOs or corporate or relocation, you might want to have a separate branding for that. Okay, so this is a template for a bio. And this is, most real estate agents, they say, I don't like to write anything. I don't know what to write on my bio. I don't even know how to get started. You say, no problem. We got a system. SYSTEM. Save yourself stress, time, energy, money. We have a system. And you send them this bio. All they have to do is fill it out. It asks the name, company, address, phone number, and then it goes through what is your experience. In other words, wherever you work, what's your education, what's your life philosophy, what is your career about, professional organizations you joined, designations. All they do is they just fill it out. Don't have to worry about grammar. Don't have to worry about spelling or complete sentences even. Then you take this and you send it to your virtual assistant who types up a nice little bio, or somebody else who can type up a bio. And if you're handy with that, I'm usually the one who does it at my company because I enjoy writing. But, you can send this to anybody who does writing. It's quick and easy, and it helps take it from, a template to a written bio. So here's a sample for you. And this is my friend Rebecca Narita, who used to work at my company. And so you can see how we started off. She's an expert representing first-time buyers, relocation, investment buyers, foreclosure assistant. She's a Filipina American, fluent in both English and Tagalog, and about her values, her family values, her faith. And then we talk about the associations that she's a member of, her philosophy, her experience, and all of that. So anyway, that is a sample bio that we use for her that she didn't have to write. She just filled out the little form, and then we did the rest of it for her. Okay, office procedures. This is another area that we go over with our agents. Again, they're probably not going to remember all of this, so we give them the video. They can watch the video later. And then, of course, you'll probably send follow-up emails to that welcome email and remind them of some of these things later. So first thing is we have a paperless. We call it Freedom Office. So basically, we do all of our documents online. We show them how we have a cloud office. We show them how to save files to our cloud. We talk about our transaction coordinator and how to set up the transaction management system. Our communication standards and our service pledge forms. We kind of went over that earlier. And then, of course, we go over data security and compliance. How important is that? So here's a sample slide for data security. We talk about how important it is to prevent identity theft of our customers by always making sure your devices are password protected, shredding documents when you're done using them, and making sure that you don't have any, little USB drives that are running around out there with sensitive and protected client information on it. We go over best business practices, securing your mobile data, things like that. We also go over risk management. We call that compliance. We talk about our state laws, our national fair housing laws, and our local laws and how to make sure they're in compliance. We go over ethics, and we go over professional associations, the realtor and the MLS. And then we talk internally about compliance with our own company standards And we talk about records retention, the difference between IRS and your state, which ours is DRE, Department of Real Estate Audit. We do go over the code of ethics. We don't spend an extraordinary amount of time on it because they will have to do that and probably already have done it as part of their realtor membership. But we want to let them know that we do support the realtor code of ethics and we work to abide by it at our company. All right, number 3, active transactions. All right, we have a little poll here. What are the procedures for active transactions when your agents leave? And this is our last poll here. So let's pull it up here. Okay, so can agents take their transactions to a new brokerage? Or do all the active transactions have to stay at our brokerage? Or is it a case-by-case basis? You don't have a policy set yet. Okay, we have C. Looks like so far 100% of attendees are at C. Go ahead and let us know, A, B, or C. A, you allow their agents to take their transactions to their new brokerage. You may request a feedback or you may not. Or B, do you make all the agents stay at your brokerage? Now, again, an active transaction, the definition is it's in escrow. You have a listing, you have a buyer, they've made an offer, it's been accepted, it's in the closing process. Okay, so far we have C, case-by-case basis. Any other answers before we move on? Okay, all right, we're going to keep going here. Going to end the poll. Now, of course, you probably know what I'm going to say is we don't want to have a case-by-case basis going forward in the future because we want to have a policy in writing that's the same for every agent. We want to have a standardized, uniform business operation. That's part of our system, right? So we have 3 areas that we could have policies on, and that would be leads, listings, and transactions. So let's jump into each of those now. So a lead means that it's not listed yet and there's no accepted offer. Now with office-generated leads, do they go with the agent? If so, is there a fee back to your brokerage? Or do they stay with the office? So that's something that you'll have to decide. And of course, once you put it in writing, you could make exceptions. You probably want to say that, except there could be exceptions made in writing by the manager, but you need to decide what you're going to do. Now with agent-generated leads, I would say most of the time those will go with the agent when they leave. You have no way of tracking them. You have, no way of knowing. And, the agent generated the lead themselves, right? Unless they've taken up some of your brokerage time, with questions or whatever. So again, your goal is to put together a policy and procedures manual that addresses each of these issues. Now, what about listings? Say there's no accepted offer yet, your agent has a listing. Or this could even apply to a buyer. They've signed a buyer rep agreement, they're out shopping with buyers. So can they take their active listings or buyers with them? If so, is there a fee that goes back to the brokerage if they take it? Or do active listings stay? Again, this is something that you're going to need to decide at your brokerage, have it in writing. This is a form that we actually gave you last module. It's called Transactions Currently in Progress. And this allows agents, when they're coming into your company, to look at what's going to come in and, what's going to stay at their previous brokerage. On the flip side, this exact same form is what you would use when your agents are leaving to determine what transactions will stay with your brokerage and which will go to their new company. Now, with this being said, many agents, as we know, they choose to take their listings, transactions, leads with them if they can. And what they often do is that if they have a listing that they know is coming up, they will tell their seller, hold on a second, I'm going to change to a new brokerage in about a week or 2 weeks, and I'll come back and get your house listed at that time. So they might have transactions in their back pocket, as you might call it, right? And so they're in their back pocket waiting for them to switch brokerages. So again, if an agent comes into you, they might have transactions in their back pocket ready to go. If an agent is leaving you, they may have saved those transactions to flip them over to their new company once they get there. Active transactions, let's talk about that. If there's an accepted offer, your agent is representing either the buyer or the seller, but there's an accepted offer. It's in the closing process. Here in California, we call it in escrow, right? Or you might call it in the settlement process in other states. So can brokerage agents take their transactions to new brokerage? If they take their transactions, are you going to ask for referral feedback? Are you going to ask for other type of compensation or no compensation due? Or will you force those active transactions to stay at our brokerage, and either you as a broker are going to finish them, or you're going to sign another agent to finish them and perhaps charge a fee to the leaving agent? Well, remember, when your agents are leaving, right, you also have to look at agents who are coming into your brokerage from another company. And remember, that other brokerage has their own policy on whether they can take their transactions. So again, you're thinking about this on both ends. You're thinking about when the agents come in and when the agents are leaving, what's going to stay and what's going to go. Okay. So again, this comes back to your policies and procedures, what's written out and what is standard in your area. Of course, you don't have to do it, but if something is customary in our area, we're more likely to do that. And just for the sake of reference, in our area, if they have a listing, agents generally take them with them. If they have an active transaction in progress in escrow, they generally stay at the brokerage. And that's just sort of customary to our area, but every brokerage has their own policy again. Okay, and we can't underestimate the importance of putting your policies and procedures in writing, having a standard, a system. It makes it easy for you, less stress, and no accusations of, being unfair or discriminating by setting a standard for everybody. Okay, we have only 5 minutes left, so we are going to go over a little bit today, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. But I do want to tackle this last section because it is so important. This is about goal setting and training, which is so critical to start your agents off with. You need to measure their goals and help them measure them themselves. The first thing is with the onboarding. You want to set up those goals initially when they come to your first orientation, and not just closing goals or, volume goals or net income goals, but also financial goals and life goals, because that really drives overall their motivation. And you need to know what their motivation is so you can help them stay encouraged and stay focused. At our company, we have quarterly goals that helps us to measure their progress. We can just go into our back office system, print it out, and let them know if they're on track. And they can do it themselves too, but sometimes people don't do that themselves. So it's good that there's that accountability. We also sit with them annually. We review their goals, and we go through what they accomplished, what their goals were for the last year, what they accomplished if they met their goals, and then we reset the goals for the next year. We also have incentives for helping them finish this process because, it's not always the easiest to stay focused and finish the process of goal setting. But remember, the motivation for people has to be internal. You can't motivate people. You can encourage them, you can guide them, but they have to be motivated from within. And the last thing is that we do offer external rewards that help that motivation a little bit, right? And makes them feel good about, the hard work it takes to go through the process. So again, I suggest having some type of a dashboard. I've called it here a daily dashboard, but it could be weekly. Have a system to help your agents track, measure, and gauge their progress towards the goals they've set. Now, as a brokerage, you might have some minimums. Many brokerages have a minimum of 2 sales per month required per agent. And if they don't meet them, then, they're subject to review and possibly letting them go. But it's important to know where you're at and where they're at and let them know how close they're coming to meeting your company standards and the standards they set for themselves. And if you're not tracking and measuring, then you have no way to gauge the performance, which is so important, right? So here we can see our little meters to gauge our performance. So in goal setting, we're going to help them complete some worksheets quarterly, annually. You want to have forms available online. Again, it's important to have as much online as possible because it will help that process get completed because people aren't going to take the time to fill out forms in general. And you want to have a date, time, and place that you review that. The broker review or manager is critical because if there's not that date, time, and place, then many agents will not do it because it's just human nature that we set goals based on deadlines, or we make events, or, we set our schedule based on deadlines. And if there's no deadline, there's no sense of urgency and it probably won't get done. So again, refer to some sample forms. Here's some of my sample forms: annual goal setting and strategic planning. And in this one, we had the agents, the number of transactions, their marketing methods, events, their profitability, their budget, education, training, goals in a lot of different areas. And we help walk them through each of these. We have here annual goals projection. Excuse me. And this is a little worksheet where they set their goals. What did they achieve last year? We go through listings, buyer meetings, escrows opened, escrows closed. And then, that's our activity. Then we go through their profit and loss, gross income, what were their expenses, what is their net income. And then we can compare, say, here's the goals you set, here's what you achieved. Based on this, what should we set for next year? And let them participate in that process. Okay, let's go over training now. We have an in-office training that will be conducted by you. There's Realtor Association training, other opportunities, a mentoring program, and possibly coaching. So local training opportunities, this is a sample from our PowerPoint that we set up, but we went through some of the local associations, realtor associations that we're a member of at the time, and looked at various training opportunities that are available to them. So nobody had the excuse of, I don't know where training is near me. Well, there's lots of training. It's all over. Okay, and then we looked also at outside training sources. So Realty Pro Academy is a great resource. I'm going to go ahead and put it in here, but okay, realtyproacademy.com, great resource for new agents. Also be aware that organizations like NAREP, ARIA, WCR, NAREP, VAREP, they all have training and monthly meetings on topics that are relevant interesting, and can help your agents succeed. And then remember, realtor associations, just like I presented before. And then I called the last item, I call coaching gurus, right? We all know there's a lot of those around. Make sure that your agents are hooked up with a good one, not spending more money than they need to and not hopping from coach to coach, but definitely make sure it's somebody that you vetted, you feel good about, it's affordable, fits in their budget, and they get a good return on investment for that. Now, mentoring program. We may have talked about this a little bit before, but when agents come on board, whether they're new or brand new licensed agent or even a seasoned agent, I would want to pair them with a mentor, somebody who knows the ropes at your company. And the reason is because it makes them feel welcome, and that new person can help acclimate them to your company's standards, to your company's atmosphere, your culture. And we talked about that at the very beginning, how important the culture is. And so the mentoring program really helps them segue into your culture. And for newbie agents, right, the newly licensed agents, it's really important. It's almost, something that they can't do without. It's almost essential, I think, for newbie agents. Now, this is what we're calling the self-evaluation. This is what we do with our agents at the end of every year. We have a review with them where we sit down, we go over the goal setting. But before we do that, we have them fill out their own review instead of us. Now, I will fill out, as a brokerage, I will meet with them. I will fill out the review. I don't really fill it out, but I go over what they wrote, and then I can correct or change or modify it. But it's interesting to see how they think that they've done. And they will go through and rate their own performance during the year on attitude, reliability, attendance and promptness, organizational skills, creativity and problem solving, verbal and written communication skills, adherence to policies, productivity, ability to work independently, taking responsibility, professionalism, job knowledge, meeting deadlines, budget, interpersonal skills, understanding and use of technology, following protocol, product knowledge, ongoing education and training, industry participation, and leadership. And these are areas where they get to rate themselves, and then they give it to you, and then you meet with them, and it gives you an opportunity to go through each of these and talk with them and say, well, you gave yourself, a 4 on here. I think you're actually a 5. Now, one thing I have found out from years of doing this with my agents is that they actually rate themselves lower than you probably would rate them. And it's amazing to see that. But most of the time when I meet with them, I'm actually correcting their ratings to be higher and say, okay, well, you thought on your productivity, you were a 3. I think you're actually a 4, and here's why. And so it's a great time to really bond with them, show that you care, and help them with their overall achievement and goals. And by the way, in a previous module, we talked about job description. Okay, here's your job description: attitude, reliability, attendance, promptness, organizational skills. Couldn't there be something said to say, that this is actually your job description, right? Any questions today? Let me know. Go ahead and type in if you have any questions. Okay, we have a couple free gifts for you for those who stayed on till the end. And as I promised, I'm going to share one thing and then the other, so you're going to have to download it quick. So we have our agent welcome letter. Okay, I'll just give you a minute to make sure you receive that. Let me know if somebody can type in. Okay, so so this is what the welcome email looks like. You can take a screenshot if you like. We're going to keep going here because I know we're running out of time. The orientation checklist I uploaded, you should receive that already. Again, we do have more master classes online and ready for you. All right, so you're going to want to come back for our next module. It's what we're calling our 7th inning, agent production, our 7th of 10 modules. So come on back again. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Scout, sign, and play the right agents at your brokerage firm. Woohoo! Have a great week, everybody. And again, what is your goal this week? Always be recruiting. Your goal this week is to recruit agents. Set aside some time in your schedule. Interview. Meet with them. Screen them. Do the orientation and onboarding. Welcome them. Have some procedures. And don't wait till everything's perfect before you start, because it'll never be perfect. Just start now. Take action. You can do it. Woohoo! Who is excited about all the new agents coming on board to your company? Shakita says thank you. You're welcome, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.